Okay, there you go. You can start whenever you're ready.
So, SANY0002 was the only passenger on the bus, not counting the driver or the guard. The guard sat next to the driver with the seat turned facing Stanley, a rifle lay across his lap. Stanley was sitting about 10 rows back, handcuffed to the armrest. His backpack lay on the seat next to him. It contained his toothbrush, toothpaste, and a box of stationery his mother had given him. He promised to write her at least once a week. He looked out the window. Although there was much to see, mostly fields of hay and cotton. He was on a long bus ride to Nowhere. The bus wasn't air conditioned and the hot, heavy air almost as deafening as the handcuffs. Stanley and his parents had tried to pretend that he was just going away to camp for a while, just like rich kids do. When Stanley was younger, he used to play with stuffed animals and pretend the animals were at camp. Fun and games called. Sometimes he would have them play soccer with the marbles. Other times they'd run an obstacle course or go bungee jumping off a table tied to broken rubber bands. Now Stanley tried to pretend that he was going to camp fun and games. Maybe he'd make some friends, though at least he'd get to swim in the lake. He didn't have any friends at home. He was overweight, and the kids at his middle school often teased him about his size. Even the teachers sometimes made cruel comments without realizing it. On the last day of school, his math teacher, Miss Bell, taught ratios. As an example, she chose the heaviest kid in the class and the lightest kid in the class, and they had them weigh themselves. Stanley weighed 3 times as much as the other boy. Miss Bell wrote the ratio on the board 3:1. Unaware how much embarrassment she had caused both of them, Stanley was arrested later that day. He looked at the guard who sat slumped in his seat and wondered if he had fallen asleep. The guard was wearing sunglasses so Stanley couldn't see his eyes. Stanley was not a bad kid. He was innocent of the crime for which he was convicted. He'd just been in the wrong place at the wrong time. It was all because of his no dirty, rotten, pig-stealing great-great-grandfather. He smiled. It was a funny joke. A family joke. Whenever anything went wrong, they always blamed Stanley's no good, dirty, rotten, pig-stealing great-great-grandfather. Supposedly, he had a great-great-grandfather who had stolen a pig from one lady's grass seat, and she put a curse on him and all his descendants. Stanley and his parents didn't believe in curses, of course, but whenever anything went wrong, it felt good to be able to blame someone. Things went wrong a lot. They always seemed to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. He looked out the window at the vast emptiness. He watched the rise and fall of telephone wires. In his mind, he could hear his father's gruff voice softly saying to him, if only the woodpecker sighed, the bark on the tree was a little bit softer. While the wolf waits below, hungry and lonely, he cries to the moon, if only. It was a song his father used to sing to him. The melody was sweet and sad. But Stanley's favorite part was when his father would hollow to the word, moon. The bus hit a small bump and the guard set up instantly alert. Stanley's father was an inventor. To be an successful inventor, you need three things: intelligence, perseverance, and just a little bit of luck. Stanley's father was smart and had a lot of perseverance. Once he started a project, he would work on it for years, often going days without sleep. He just never had any luck. Every time an experiment failed, Stanley could hear him cursing his no good, dirty, rotten, pig-stealing great-great-grandfather. Stanley's father was also named Stanley Young. Stanley's father's full name was Stanley Young III. Our Stanley is Stanley Young V. Everyone in his family had always liked the fact that Stanley Young was spelled the same frontwards and backwards. Okay. So they kept naming their son Stanley. Stanley was an only child, as was every other Stanley Young before. All of them had something in common. Despite their awful luck, they always remained hopeful. As Stanley's father liked to say, I learned from failure. But perhaps that was the part of the curse as well. If Stanley and his father weren't as hopeful, then it wouldn't hurt them so much. Every time their hopes were crushed, not every Stanley Young has been a failure. Stanley's mother often pointed out whenever Stanley or his father became so discouraged that they actually tried to believe in the curse, the first Stanley Young, Stanley's great-grandfather, and made a fortune in the stock market. He couldn't have been too unlucky. At such times, he negligent to mention the bad luck that befell the first Stanley Young. He lost his entire fortune when he was moving from New York to California. The stagecoach was robbed by the law Kissing Kate Barrow. If it weren't for that, Stanley's family would now be living in a mansion on a beach in California. Instead, they were crammed in tiny apartments that smelled of burning rubber and foot odor. If only. The apartment smelled the way it did because Stanley's father was trying to invent a way to recycle old sneakers. The first person who finds a use for old sneakers, he said, will be a very rich man. It was the last project that led to Stanley's arrest. The bus ride became increasingly bumpy because the road was no longer paved. Actually, Stanley had been impressed when he first found out that his great-grandfather was robbed by Kissing Kate Barrow. True, he would have preferred living on a beach in California, but it was still kind of cool to have someone in his family who got robbed by a famous outlaw. Kate Barrow didn't actually kiss Stanley's great-grandfather. That would have been really cool, but she only kissed the men she killed. Instead, she robbed him and left him stranded in the middle of the desert. He was lucky to survive. Stanley's mother was quick to point out the bus was slowing down. The guard grunted as he stretched his arm. Welcome to Camp Rain Lake, said the driver. Stanley looked out the dirty window. He couldn't see a lake, and hardly anything was green.
Good job. Now I'm just going to ask you some questions. I'm going to steal it from you. I'm going to ask you some questions about it.
Okay.
Can you just tell me about anything that you read, like what happened,
Summary?
or sure.
That chapter was about Stanley, them telling him what happened about the arrest, like how he got arrested, and on his way, and like the story of like the curse that happened to him and his whole family, and his bus ride to Camp Green Lake, and like everything like that happened in his past, like the curse, when his great grandfather got robbed, how there's 5 Stanley yelling for, I think that's the last name. And like that's pretty much it. It's the past.
I'd say you pretty much hit the nail on the head there. Alright.